July 28, 1935. Flying Fortress. The first flight of the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress marked a pivotal moment in the development of American military aviation. Designed by the Boeing Company in response to a 1934 U.S. Army Air Corps request for a multi-engine bomber capable of defending itself and delivering heavy payloads over long distances, the B-17 was engineered for strategic bombing and represented a technological advancement in aircraft design. The prototype, designated Model 299, took off from Boeing Field in Seattle, Washington. It was piloted by Boeing test pilot Leslie R. Tower and chief test pilot Edmund T. Allen. During this maiden flight, the aircraft demonstrated exceptional performance, climbing to 10,000 feet in under 10 minutes and reaching a top speed of over 230 miles per hour. These figures surpassed those of competing designs from Douglas and Martin, securing the aircraft's future despite an early setback. Later that year, the prototype crashed due to a failure to disengage the gust locks, resulting in the loss of the aircraft and the life of test pilot Tower. Although this crash jeopardized the initial order, Boeing ultimately received a contract for 13 Y-1B-17 units in 1936 following continued interest from military officials. The B-17's historical significance lies primarily in its use during World War II. By the early 1940s, the aircraft had been refined into several variants, most notably the B-17E, B-17F, and B-17G. Each iteration included improvements in defensive armament, range, and durability. The B-17G, the final major version, featured a total of 13 50-caliber machine guns and a distinctive chin turret to counter head-on attacks by enemy fighters. Throughout the war, the B-17 was central to the U.S. Army Air Force's strategic bombing campaign over Europe. Flying from bases in England and Italy, B-17s targeted German industrial centers, rail yards, and military installations. Missions such as the August 17, 1943 attack on Schweinfurt's ball bearing factories and the October 14, 1943 raid on the same target, known as Black Thursday, highlighted both the aircraft's endurance and the heavy losses sustained in unescorted operations. The later introduction of long-range escort fighters such as the P-50 Mustang reduced attrition and increased mission effectiveness. The B-17 gained a reputation for resilience, often returning to base despite severe damage. This durability, combined with its defensive firepower, contributed to its nickname, the Flying Fortress, coined by a Seattle Times reporter. The name was later adopted officially by Boeing and the U.S. Army Air Corps. Over 12,000 B-17s were built between 1936 and 1945, with production shared among Boeing, Douglas Aircraft Company, and Lockheed's Vega division. Beyond its combat role, the B-17 was also used for reconnaissance, search and rescue, and as a transport aircraft. Several modified B-17s participated in scientific missions, including atmospheric research and ice reconnaissance during the post-war period. By the end of the war, the emergence of newer bombers like the B-29 Superfortress began to phase out the B-17, though many remained in service in various capacities until the late 1950s. The legacy of the B-17 continues through museums and air shows, with several restored aircraft still airworthy today. Its historical importance is cemented not only by its technological innovations, but also by its symbolic role in America's air campaign during World War II. The first flight in 1935 laid the foundation for an aircraft that would become a cornerstone of Allied air power and a key component in the strategic objectives that helped shape the outcome of the global conflict. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.